On December 8, 1980, the world lost one of its biggest icons, John Lennon. He wasn't just the lead singer of the Beatles, he was a symbol of peace, love, and change. But his death was nothing short of tragic. As he returned to his apartment at the Dakota building in New York with his wife, Yoko Ono, he was shot by Mark David Chapman, a man who had actually asked for his autograph just hours before the attack. It's hard to even imagine that kind of irony, right? One moment, Lennon is signing a record for this fan, and the next, he's fighting for his life. The details of the shooting are chilling. Lennon was ambushed by Chapman outside the Dakota, and he was shot 4 times in the back. But it's what happened after that moment that has haunted people for years. Yoko Ono, in later interviews, revealed the last 2 words John Lennon said before he collapsed. They weren't something profound or dramatic. There was no final message of peace or hope, as we might expect from someone like him. Instead, his last words were simply, "I'm shot." When you hear those words, you can't help but feel the weight of them. It's almost like Lennon was just trying to process what was happening to him in that moment. It's raw, simple, and heartbreaking. He wasn't trying to make a statement, he was just a man, shocked and in pain. And honestly, those 2 words are probably even more chilling than anything more elaborate he could have said. Imagine being in that position. You're famous, you're a global symbol, and yet in your final moments, you don't have some dramatic, legendary statement to leave behind. It's just a human admission of shock and fear. I think that makes it hit even harder. John Lennon wasn't just a rock star, he was just like all of us when faced with mortality, vulnerable, afraid, and powerless. It gets even stranger when you look at Chapman, the man who took Lennon's life. After the shooting, he didn't flee or try to escape. Instead, he calmly sat down nearby and began reading The Catcher in the Rye, a book he later said inspired him to commit the crime. It's this cold, eerie contrast that has left so many people baffled for years. While Lennon was fighting for his life, Chapman was sitting there like it was no big deal. And then, there's the bigger question, why? What led Chapman to do this? Was he just another obsessed fan who had gone off the rails? Or was there something more to it? Chapman had been fixated on Lennon for quite some time, and in his mind, killing Lennon would somehow make him famous or important. It's a tragic reminder of how fragile the line is between admiration and obsession. But beyond all the strange details and the mystery around the killer, what really sticks with us is Lennon's final moments. Those 2 words. "I'm shot." They've become etched into our memory because they are so simple, so direct, and yet so deeply emotional. In a world full of famous last words, Lennon's might not have been the most elaborate, but they are certainly some of the most poignant. It's hard to believe that after everything he gave to the world, after all his music and messages of peace, John Lennon's life ended so abruptly, so violently. And yet, the way he reacted to his own death, it wasn't with grand gestures or final speeches. It was just pure, raw humanity. "I'm shot." And in those words, we can hear the fear, the disbelief, and the tragic reality of a life cut short. Even all these years later, those words stick with us. They remind us of how fleeting life can be, and how even the most famous and influential people are still just human. Lennon wasn't trying to leave us with some big final message. He was just trying to survive. But in a way, his last words speak volumes about who he was, honest, vulnerable, and real. It's something that stays with you long after you hear it. So, what do you think about Lennon's final words? Were you surprised, or do you think they make sense given everything he was going through? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you're interested in more about Lennon and the shocking details surrounding his life and death, check out the next video on our channel. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.